Ellora is an archaeological site near the city of Aurangabad in the Indian state of Maharashtra, built by the Rashtrakuta dynasty. They built a Brahmanical and Buddhist group of caves, and Jain group of caves were built by Yadav. It is also known as Elapura in the Rashtrakuta Kannada literature. Well known for its monumental caves, Ellora is an UNESCO World Heritage Site and forms one of the major tourist attractions in Marathwada region of Maharashtra. Ellora is the best example of Indian rock cut architecture. The 34 caves are actually structures excavated out of the vertical face of the Charanandri hills. Hindu, Buddhist and Jain rock-cut temples, viharas and mathas were built probably between the 5th century and 10th century. There are 17 Hindu caves from 13 to 29 and 12 Buddhist caves from 1 to 12 and 5 Jain caves from 30 to 34. They are built in proximity. They demonstrate the religious harmony prevalent during this period of Indian history. It is a protected monument under the Archaeological Survey of India. Ellora, also called Verul or Ellura, it is the cave from the ancient name Elapura. Ellora is known for Hindu, Buddhist, Jain cave temples built during the rule of Kalchuri, Chalukya and Rashtrakuta dynasties. The Jagannath Sabha, a group of 5 Jain temple caves of 9th century built by Rashtrakuta. The 17 Hindu caves from 13 to 29 were constructed probably between the middle of the 6th century to the end of 8th century. All these structures represent a different style of creative vision and execution skills. Some were of such complexity that they required several generations of planning and coordination to complete. The Kailash Temple, Cave 16, also known as Kailash, it is unrivaled centerpiece of Ellora. It is single largest monolithic structure on earth. This is designed to recall Mount Kailash, the abode of Lord Shiv. Looks like a freestanding, multi-storied temple complex, but it was carved out of one single rock and covers an area double the size of football ground. Initially, the temple was covered with white plaster, thus even more increasing the similarity to snow-covered Mount Kailash. All the carvings are done in more than one level. A two-storied gateway resembling a South Indian gopura opens to reveal a U-shaped courtyard. The courtyard is edged by columned galleries 3 stories high. The galleries are punctured by huge sculpted panels containing enormous sculptures of a variety of deities. Originally, flying bridges of stone connected these galleries to central temple structures, but these have fallen or destroyed by Muslim ruler Aurangabad. Within the courtyard are 3 structures as in traditional in Shiv temples. The first is a large image of the sacred bull Nandi in the front of central temple. The central temple Nandi Mandap houses the lingam. The Nandi Mandap stand on 16 pillars and is 29.3 meter high. The base of the Nandi Mandap has been carved to suggest that life-sized elephants are holding the structure up into the air. A living rock bridge connects the Nandi Mandap to the Shiv temple behind it. The temple itself is a tall pyramidal structure similar to South Indian Dravidian temple. The shrine, complete with pillars, windows, inner and outer rooms, gathering halls, and a very large Shiv Jyotirlingam at its heart. Carved from living stone, statues are beautifully carved in wall, rectangular columns, windows, as well as images of deities. Mathuna means erotic male and female figures and other figures. Most of the deities at the left of the entrance are Shaivite. Shiv means follower of Shiva, while on the right hand side are the deities of Vaishnav. Vaishnavites means follower of Vishnu. There are two Dhwaj Stambha pillars with the flag staff in the courtyard. The grand sculpture of Raman attempting to lift the Mount Kailash, the abode of Lord Shiva, with his full might is a landmark in Indian art. The construction of this cave was a feat of human genius, an achievement that requires great courage, skill, and strength. It entailed the removal of 400,000 tons of rock and took 200 years to complete. The temple is magnificent, very impressive, splendid achievement of Rashtrakuta Kannada architecture. This project was started by King Krishna of the Rashtrakuta dynasty that ruled from Karnataka state. His rule had also spread to southern India. Hence, this temple was excavated in the prevailing style. Its builders modeled it on the lines of Virupaksha temple in Padakal. Being a South Indian style temple, it does not have a shikhara common to North Indian temples. The Kailash Temple, in Sanskrit Kailash Nath Temple, it is one of the largest rock-cut ancient Hindu temple. These extend over more than 2 km, were dug side by side in the walls of a high basalt cliff in the complex located at Ellora. The Kailash Cave 16 is a remarkable example of Dravidian architecture. Account of its striking proportion, elaborate workmanship, architectural content, and sculptural ornamentation of rock-cut architecture. The Dashavatar Cave number 15 has an open court with a freestanding mandap at the middle, which is formed of a single large block of stone and a two-storied excavated temple at the rear. The layout of the temple is closely related to caves 11 and 12. Large sculpture panels between the wall column on the upper floor illustrate a wide range of themes which include the 10 avatars of Vishnu. Inscription of a grant of Danti Durg is found on the back wall of the front mandap. The finest relief of this cave is the one depicting the death of Hiranyakashipu, where Vishnu in man-lion form, Narsimha form, emerges from a pillar to lay a fatal hand upon the shoulder of Hiranyakashipu. Other notable Hindu caves are Rameshwaram Cave 21, which has figures of a river goddess Ganga and Yamuna at the entrance, and the Dhumarlina Cave 29, whose design is similar to the cave temple on Elephant Island near Mumbai. Two other caves, the Ravan Ki Khai Cave number 14 and the Nilkantha Cave number 22, also have several sculptures. The rest of the Hindu caves, which include Kumbharwada Cave 25 and the Gopilina Cave number 27, have no significant sculptures. It is said in Vedic scriptures that as Kali progresses, the strength, intelligence, height, age of people decreases. So from here we can see the work they done before 1500 years without any modern machinery. It requires really strong, intelligent, creative humans. So the humans of that time, they were far more superior than the present age humans in terms of the body build. Their height and their strength, bodily strength, were obviously much more than the present age humans. So this is the world famous Kailash Temple at Ellora, and let's look objectively into who could have built this amazing structure. And by the end of this video, I hope you will agree this temple was built by a very advanced civilization. What is so special about this temple? This temple was not constructed by adding stone blocks, but an entire mountain was carved to create this temple. This is the only example in the whole world where a mountain was cut out from the top to create this structure. In all the other temples and caves, even in Ellora and the rest of the world, the rock was cut from the front and carved as they went along. The whole world has followed a rock cutting technique called cut in monolith, while Kailash Temple is the only one that has used the exact opposite technique called cut out monolith. To see why this rock cutting technique is so different, let's take a look at the pillar that is 100 feet tall. See how small human being look when compared to this pillar. Normally, to create such a huge pillar, it would take years of work carving accurately on the huge rock, but this pillar was carved by scooping out all the pieces of mountain around it. You can imagine the amount of rock which has been removed to create this pillar. Historians and archaeologists are confused because of sheer amount of rock that was removed in this temple. Archaeologists confirm that over 400,000 tons of rock had to be scooped out, which would have taken not years but centuries of human labor. Historians have no record of such a huge task, and few historians think that it was built in 18 years. Let us do a simple math to see if historian could be right. I am going to assume that people worked every day for 18 years and for 12 hours straight with no breaks at all. I am going to ignore rainy days, festivals, wartime, and assume that people worked like robots carelessly. I am also going to ignore the time taken to create a intricate carving and complex engineering design and planning and just focus on removal of rock. If 4 lakh tons of rock were removed in 18 years, 22,222 tons of rock had to be removed every year. This means that 60 tons of rock was removed every day, which gives us 5 tons of rock removed every hour. I think we can all agree that this is not even possible today to remove 5 tons of rock from a mountain every hour. Not even with all the so-called advanced machines that we have. So, if it is not humanly possible, was it done by humans at all? Was this created with the help of extraterrestrial intelligence? Forget about creating such an extraordinary structure. Can human beings at least destroy this temple? Aurangabad, a Muslim king, employed 1,000 workers to completely demolish this temple. In 1682, he ordered that the temple be destroyed, so that there would be no trace of it. Records show that 1,000 people worked for 3 years and they could only do very minimal damage. They could break and disfigure a few statues here and there, but they realized it is just not possible to completely destroy this temple. Aurangzeb finally gave up on this impossible task. Note that this attempted destruction is very similar to another mysterious structure called the Menkaure pyramid in Egypt. Another Muslim ruler wanted all the pyramids to be destroyed and started his work from Menkaure's pyramid. After years of trying, he was only able to make a small dent on the pyramid. He gave up too. Were all these indestructible structures around the world created by extraterrestrials? Is that why human beings are not even able to destroy them? In fact, archaeologists agree that Kailash Temple was created before any other temple in Ellora cave complex. Could this have been built centuries before human beings started carving other temples nearby? Is this why the architecture, the design and the size is so much better and bigger than other temples? If it was built by humans, is it logical to expect that the rock cutting technique and design would become better over time? People would gain more experience and knowledge and make better structures in the future. However, the Kailash temple is the oldest and the biggest temple carved with engineering perfection. Unlike other temples, the Kailash is the only temple that is visible from the air. Out of 34 temples, all carved side by side, Kailash stands out and you can see it while flying over it. Is it just a coincidence or was it designed for people to see it from the air, like Nazca lines of Peru? Even on Google Earth, the aerial view of Kailash temple clearly shows an X mark